in the Masters of Architecture program at KU, and I'm going into my 4th year. I've always loved art, the art side of architecture specifically, and that's something that I really love about the library as well, is all the detailing in the architecture. This past year I was building Phoenix House with Chad Krause in Dirtwork Studio. Towards the end of the project, he mentioned that he had a friend that wanted someone to model the library, and I made it clear I was very interested, and I think I pestered my way into the job a little bit, but I wanted to do something with architecture and research, and especially the fact that it's a historic building. I think that really drew me in. Well, on the very first day, we met everybody, and then we went to Spencer Research, and we went through the plans from the 80s, and then we went downstairs to the restoration to see the original plans from 1922. And that was very cool. They were in the middle of getting fixed up, and it was very interesting to see like hand-drawn plans. And I essentially started from the original build in 1924 on and just added on to the building as they did in real life. I used SketchUp for this specifically, which is a line-based 3D modeling program. So I essentially go line by line and create things. And so I have to go in and essentially hand draw, but on a laptop, all of the detailing of the building. I found that I really love this type of research, and I have a love specifically for historic architecture and restoration. It was such a cool part of the process to see, people with my same career path who had drawn these things so many years ago. And the 1922 set for the 1924 build was by far the coolest one to see. It was beautiful. It was just amazing to see how KU represented itself in the library that long ago. I don't think that's something I would have an opportunity to do in architecture without buildings like this. I don't know, it's almost like spiritual for an architecture student, if that makes sense. It's just amazing to see something that old, and then to see it develop throughout the decades, and how architectural styles became different and how people drew differently. There were even some of the plans that you could tell had been on the construction site when it was built, because they were all raggedy and gotten wet, and it was cool to see that this was touched by the people who built the building. So in 1924, the part that we are in right now was existing. The windows were part of the original, and I believe that the stone right there is from the original build. And there was also these center stacks. The stairs where they cut off right at the end of the first platform, so then it continued into wood scaffolding until 1930s, when they replaced the stairs into these split off stairs, and they added sub-basement for more storage. And then in the 50s, they added the west wing and east stacks. And that was a big deal, which they had actually planned for the stacks and the wings in the original, but just budgeting didn't allow it. In the 60s, they added the east wing and the west stacks, and that was a very large build. It was about the same size as the original. And then in the 80s, they redid the front steps. Again, they added the ramp, making it ADA accessible. They added bike rails, and they did a lot of interior renovation in that time. And that's what was built in the 80s, essentially what we have today. This is the perfect job I could have gotten this summer. Most architecture students really fight for internships. I had one last summer, and it was very engineering based, which I think took a lot of the joy of architecture out of it for me. This job has allowed me to keep my love for architecture and really find it in more specific ways, I suppose. The library is the core campus. I know so many people that come here to study and spend most of their college time in this building. It would be amazing for money to be put into this building as well by KU to help not quite restore it necessarily, it doesn't have to be how it was originally, but to bring it to today and to show appreciation for what was, for such an important building of KU campus. It's honestly probably one of the things I'm most proud of to be a part of with KU and the architecture program. That and Phoenix House, of course, but yeah, it's amazing to be a part of it and to be able to tell that story. I think my favorite part of my chosen career path is to be able to tell stories using visuals. So this is exactly what I love.